If you own or follow Tesla stock, you know that this has been one of the best performing stocks of this year, especially among large cap companies. And up until today, it seemed like there was absolutely nothing that could stop this EV train. But today, as of recording this video, the stock is down around 10%. Not really sure where it's going to end off the day. It wouldn't be surprised if it recovers from this or continues selling off. This stock is volatile. But what I do know is that many investors that bought into the stock in the last few days or even few weeks are feeling some reverse FOMO, also known as fear. So why is Tesla stock crashing? Is it time to sell Tesla stock? And what do I think about the outlook of Tesla stock here, especially over the short term? These are questions that I want to answer for you guys in today's video. So all I ask is you sit back, relax, enjoy the content. You're going to get a ton of value out of this, and smash that like button down below as well for the YouTube algorithm. So instead of keeping you waiting to the end of the video to discuss the stock and where I think the stock is going, let's start off this video with that topic. Here you see Tesla stock, and we can see the run it has had in 2020, especially since the dip in March. This is all post-split, so the prices are adjusted, but essentially we were up around 600% from the March lows until the peak a couple of days ago. Not too shabby for a few months of investment, eh? But anyways, on this chart, I pointed out two things here, and this is something that I've been watching on Tesla stock. The first is that we are so stretched on the daily chart, and sooner or later a stock will revert back down to its moving averages. The lines you see here are the moving averages for the stock. A 50-day is the green, a 100-day is the orange, and the 200-day is the red. Stocks generally revert back to their 50-day fairly often, and this is a healthy sign for a move up in a stock. The 100 and 200 moving averages are usually used as lines of support, and if we see some drastic sell-off, we will typically see a stock find some sort of support and some buyers at those levels. Either way, the point I'm trying to make here is that Tesla is overly stretched from all of its moving averages, which signals to me a pullback is around the corner. Does this mean we will crash all the way down to say $200 per share where the 200 moving average is? Unlikely, but I think a pullback to the mid 300s is very possible and honestly would be a very healthy move for the stock over the long term. I also want to point out the second thing I've labeled on here, which is the stochastics RSI, and all this tells us is if a stock is overbought or oversold. And we can see up until today really, Tesla was extremely overbought, and this is unsustainable, guys, which is why we're starting to see a sell-off in the stock now. Typically, if this indicator is around 20 or so, it's a good signal, combined with other indicators, of course, to consider buying or adding to a position. But when a stock is pushing the high end of this indicator and pretty much maxing out here at near 100, I tend to stay far, far away from buying more shares. So the charts are pretty clear. They tell me that it's time for some sort of pullback, some sort of cool off, some sort of selling in Tesla stock. And no matter how much of a bull I am on Tesla, no matter how great the outlook for the company looks over the next 5-10 years, and no matter what Elon Musk tweets, it's time here for Tesla stock to see some sort of selling, at least in my eyes. So to answer the question, why is Tesla stock selling? Well, stocks move up and down in waves. There's no stock that just goes from 0 to 1,000 without pulling back. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and every stock goes through this. Now, if you've been buying Tesla here at nearly $500 per share post-split, then you should be pretty excited to get the stock here at close to $400 per share here just a couple of days later. If you feel that when the stock was selling off today that, you know, you're regretting your decision, you want to sell out, all these other things that pretty much indicate fear, then that tells me that you're either over leveraging your position, you haven't done the research behind this, and you're just buying into a ticker symbol and buying into hype. If you have a long-term outlook, and I'm talking like long-term, not just, you know, a couple of months or maybe a year, I'm talking 5, 10, 15 years out, then these sort of pullbacks are typically a good opportunity to add a little bit more into your position. Just keep building that up because you don't want to buy when the stock's moving higher. You want to buy when the stock's moving lower. When people are fearful, that's when you want to be greedy. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm personally buying Tesla stock right now. And if you're in my VIP membership group, you know my stance on Tesla right now. And if I do end up buying, I will be posting it in there. So if you are interested in joining, check the link description down below. But at the same time, I'm personally not selling my Tesla stock either, because I do see the long-term vision for this company, and I'm a proud shareholder of Tesla stock. Now, if you are considering selling Tesla stock, or if you sold Tesla stock today, ask yourself the tough question. Have the fundamentals changed? Is there something different about Tesla, the business, not the ticker symbol, that caused you to change your mind on the investment and sell out? If you were just selling because the stock price moved lower today, in my opinion, that's a big mistake, because you're ignoring the actual business behind it. You're just looking at ticker symbols, you're buying ticker symbols, you're selling ticker symbols. And long term, guys, that's not really a sustainable strategy, in my opinion. I really do want you to become the best investor you can be. And I think the first step in that is to realize that these ticker symbols represent businesses. And to truly be a successful investor, you need to take the time to understand these businesses to make your buy and sell decision. Now, that being said, this week Tesla did have an announcement which did have a material fundamental impact on the company, which, could have led to some of the selling we saw today. However, that's debatable. I tend to think that that's not the cause for the selling today, because the news was out yesterday and we didn't see as much of a sell-off in the stock. Today was actually one of the biggest sell-off days that I've seen in a very long time in Tesla here. Now, the news was that Tesla announced that they plan to sell up to $5 billion in stock, essentially taking advantage of the recent price run-up that we've seen in the last few months. Tesla said that the additional shares will be sold from time to time and at the market prices, and that the banks will sell shares based on directives from Tesla. In a quote, Tesla also said, "We intend to use the net proceeds, if any, from this offering to further strengthen our balance sheet, as well as for general corporate purposes." So clearly the reason for the sale is to raise cash, obviously, to keep the company strong financially in case they see hiccups again like they did in 2019. As for their last earnings, the company holds $8.6 billion in cash. So this additional $5 billion will put them above $13 billion in cash, which will allow for funding things like maybe, a compact model based on the Model 3, or maybe another gigafactory somewhere in China, or maybe help them increase capacity of the Model 3 and Y, which are selling extremely well right now. Or like I said, maybe they just end up keeping this cash as a cash buffer on their balance sheet, just in case things get worse and just in case they need to tap into that to keep the business going. Now, with this move, generally when I see companies do this, I'm not too happy with it, because it does hurt shareholders. What you do see pretty often is that these smaller companies, hype companies, will do this when there's extreme optimism in the stock. Stock price runs up hundreds of percent, and then they go out and they sell shares to raise cash and pretty much take advantage of the situation. Can't really fault them for that. However, it typically signals to me a lot of times, especially when it's a small business, that, their financial situation, not that great, and you should probably take the time to look into their balance sheet. With Tesla, it's a little bit different. Yes, the financial situation is much, much better than it has been any time in the past. And I think with the amount of cash they have on the balance sheet, they're pretty okay now. They're not going to see any tough times, at least in the foreseeable future. But with the optimism we're seeing, I guess it makes sense to sell some stock here and raise more cash. The stock is over a $400 billion market cap today, so $5 billion here is around 1.25% of their total value. And I believe at its peak, it was around $450 billion market cap, so that 5% meant even less. At the end of the day, I'm a shareholder of Tesla, so I'm all for strengthening their balance sheet during these times. And really, I would rather them do this now when they're in a position of strength, as opposed to, have to raise cash in, say, a year or so when things could be in a much worse situation and they have to take on tons of debt and interest and all that kind of stuff. Things could get messy, so they are looking ahead here, and that's a decision that they made. Whether we like it or not, whether existing shareholders like myself agree with this or not, It's what Musk decided, and I'm sure over the long term, it'll probably be the right decision for the company. Now guys, I do realize I'm a bit biased here when it comes to Tesla, so whether you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments section down below. I love to hear your thoughts on this topic or pretty much anything else that we discussed in today's video. All in all though, I am still a huge Tesla fan. I am still a huge Tesla bull. I may buy more Tesla stock if we drop into the low 300s. We'll have to wait and see. If you are interested and you want to know if I do buy more Tesla stock, consider joining our VIP membership group and you get free access to the Discord as well. If you're interested, check out the link in the description down below. Either way guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this content. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.